Yo, what's up everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot, and we are back to give you guys some player props and spreads in the NBA for Tuesday, February 23rd. Thank you guys all for the unreal support recently. We just surpassed 400 subscribers, and if you are new here, we are doing a giveaway where I will give $100 to every subscriber if we get first place in NBA Daily Fantasy. I play every night. We're getting close. We're in the top 1% a couple nights ago. We can do it, and I really want to pay out to you guys. But let's hop into my favorite player props and spreads. If you're new, man, we are 17-6 over the past 3 or 4 days. We were 4-2 yesterday. Just missed out on a LeBron James one more point, and we would have hit his over. And we are 3-0, well, actually 9-0 on spreads. So stay tuned for those because we're getting into some player props first. First up on the docket, we bet on this player a couple nights ago, and they didn't treat us nicely, so we're back for more. Joel Embiid over 30.5 points versus the Raptors. He had arguably one of his worst games of this season against the Raptors a couple nights ago. 6 for 20. He was not very good. 6 for 20 is not good for Embiid. He normally shoots above 50%, and that just was not up to par with what we've seen this whole year. But he still got us 25 points. And to think that you can get a player that shoots 6 for 20 and still gets that close to his over of 30.5, we have to take it. He's averaging 30.5 points per game. He has 31 plus points in 11 of his last 14 games. The Raptors still don't have anyone to guard him. He just wasn't making his shots. I think he gets back on pace tonight as the Sixers are trying to beat the Raptors, who just beat them a couple nights ago. Also, I won't make this an official play, but I do like Ben Simmons over 16.5 points. He's been crazy good in February. I think he's averaging 22, 23 points per game. It's only 16.5. He's hit that in 4 straight games, including 28 in the last game against Toronto. So that would be a good bet, but I'm not going to make that as an official play. Moving on to my next player, it is Nikola Jokic, the Joker, man. And this is more of a position play. Who's guarding him? And it's going to be Enes Kanter. And Enes Kanter can't stop anyone. He just gave up, I think, 19 or 20 points to DeAndre Ayton, and Jokic is much better than Ayton is. And when you think about this Trailblazers versus Nuggets game, it's going to be high scoring, and you'll see that maybe later on in the spreads and over-unders I pick, but yeah, Jokic is coming off 2 off nights. He hasn't been necessarily great, but one of those games was Jamal Murray's 50-plus points, so you don't expect Jokic to also go out and drop 30 on him. I think tonight he will be in focus. He will be scoring at will against the Trailblazers, who don't have anyone that can match up against him. Like I said, Enes Kanter, he's just a walking body out there. He's a mismatch. When you think about it, he has no chance stopping Jokic tonight. I also do like Jamal Murray's over 25.5, but I can't pick both of them, and I think Jokic has the bigger game tonight. But if you want to go Jamal Murray, his 5 straight games at 25 plus points, his line is 25.5. He's had 30 plus in 3 straight games. He seems to be back to the bubble Jamal Murray that we saw, which would be a big boost for this Nuggets team, but they need Jokic and Murray to play well at the same time, which they haven't necessarily gotten over the last 3 games. Moving on to my third and final official player prop, Nikola Vucevic, over 26.5 points. It remains to be seen if Vucevic will be an all-star this year. He has arguably deserved it, but the Magic have not been that great. But when you think about this line, it is about 2 or 3 points above his average, which is 24 points a game, and it's for good reason. They're playing the Detroit Pistons, who just a couple nights ago, Nikola Vucevic dropped 37 on their head, 14 of 27. He was insanely good, and he continues to do that against the Pistons. The Pistons have Mason Plumlee, Isaiah Stewart. Neither of those players can match up well against him. And when you think about all the injuries that the Magic have, Vucevic is going to be the one that takes the majority of the shots. You still got Fournier and Terrence Ross, but Vucevic is the primary scoring option on this team, and I think he gets over 27 points, maybe even hits 30 in back-to-back games. He's been unreal this year. We'll see if he makes the All-Star team, but that's regardless. Moving on to some player props and spreads, man. Like I said, we were 9-0 in the past 3 days. Let's keep it rolling. I already talked about one of them already, Blazers versus Nuggets, over 230.5. Yeah, the Blazers don't play an ounce of defense. Neither really do the Nuggets. And yeah, we think they can easily combine for over 240 points. That's what they did the last time they played, which albeit it was back in the bubble, but 230.5 points is not that many for this Blazers and Nuggets team. Blazers are on the second half of a back-to-back. They just got blown out by the Suns last night, I believe 132 to 130. They hit the over last night, which we had, but Yeah, I think they're going to continue to fill it up. Jokic and Murray should have big games, and Damian Lillard is not going to let his team get blown out by 30 again. And if he does, at least they're going to score more points than 100. So I'm taking the over in that game. Moving on to another one, Celtics versus the Mavericks. I'm going to take the Celtics -1. The Mavericks are on the second half of back-to-back. They did just have an impressive defensive victory over the Memphis Grizzlies last night by 10, 102-92. But when you look at this game, and both teams aren't necessarily playing the great this year. They've kind of exceeded expectations. They've underperformed. But I think the Celtics will win this game. It seems like a total Celtics game that they win and win big. Boston 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games against Dallas. And Boston is 11-4 against the spread in their last 15 games at Dallas, in Dallas against the Mavericks. I think they'll get it done again tonight, and Celtics should win. You can take Celtics money line, whatever you want. I think the Celtics win again tonight. And then my last spread of the day, we're going to go Hawks versus Cavs under 227.5. I've seen the Cavs play this year, and I know that they can't score points. They just aren't like that. Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and now LaFro, Jarrett Allen, they just aren't a very good offensive team. And while they aren't great defensively, I think they're able to hold their own against this Hawks team, who still does play fast, but the Cavs are so slow that they will outweigh the Hawks' speed. If you think about Atlanta, the total has gone over in eight of their last 8 games. So it's 100% over's gone over. And yeah, I don't think it's going to go over tonight. I'm totally, I guess I'm a camper. This is what I think is going to happen. I mean, the last time these two teams played, which was earlier this year, the final score was 96-91. They didn't even get near 227.5, which it is right now. Like I said, Cavs don't play well. They don't shoot the ball well, and they play super slow. I think they'll slow down the Hawks tonight. And while I think the Hawks will likely win, the over is not going to win. No chance. We are taking the over or the under in that game. So to recap, this is what we got. Official plays: Joel Embiid over 30.5 points versus the Raptors. Nikola Jokic over 25.5 points versus the Blazers. Vucevic over 26.5 points versus the Detroit Pistons. Blazers versus Nuggets over 230.5. Celtics -1 versus the Mavericks. And finally, the Hawks Cavs under 227.5. Thank you guys all for your unreal support recently. Man, we'll be back tomorrow for some more player props. Let's see how many subscribers. Let's get up to 450 today. That would really mean a lot. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace out.